Welcome to New Life Live with Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's today's host, Becky Brown.
Actually, it's Chris Williams sitting in for Becky Brown today, and joining me shortly will be Jacqui Mack-Harris. Thank you so much for being with us today, for joining us on New Life Live. We are very, very glad that you're here. And I want to mention something that's coming up. This is the last day to get the early bird rate for the Emotional Freedom Workshop, something that I'll be presenting at, and I'm always really, really excited to do it. And mostly not because it's necessarily fun in the sense that it's a great time, but it is an incredibly meaningful time. And the meaning of it all is to really do the mission of New Life Live and New Life Ministries, and that is to bring hope and healing in life's hardest places. And if you're like me, and being a human being, actually, is that we are carrying around inside of us a lot of the wounds of our past, a lot that metastasize or turn into a lot of fear, a lot of frustration. They turn into negative patterns. Oftentimes they turn into medicators, things that we medicate or zone out on, and they can turn into addictions. There are so many different areas of our life that are unhealed wounds tend to really block us in living out God's will and living out the life that He has desired for us. And you can go online and take a free quiz at newlife.com to see if this fits you. Because the bottom line is that when we are carrying around these unhealed wounds in our life and they're bleeding out all around us, it doesn't just toxify ourselves, it toxifies everything around us. And oftentimes the best thing that we can do for the people around us is to go in and do our own work. And what the Emotional Freedom Workshop does is it just opens up these doors in a really safe environment. It's online, and it allows you to really kind of pull the hood up on the hood of your car and look at seeing how the engine is running, seeing what is going on the inside. And I make this joke around here in Southern California, call it OCD, which is Orange County disorder, and it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. But oftentimes I say what we're oftentimes doing in OCD, in Orange County disorder, is we have something on the inside, something in our engine block that isn't working. But instead of taking it to the mechanic to work on the engine, we take it to the body shop to make it look better. And the bottom line is sometimes we can dress up and we can make things look really, really good. But if the engine isn't working, it is going to be a constant source of pain in our life where we're going to break down over and over and over again. And so in my life, I just remember, chronic just anxiety and depression and frustration, and I would constantly be in retreat mode and shutdown and withdrawal and isolated and struggling in my own addictions. And what I didn't understand is that I was carrying wounds of my past. I was carrying unseen, unmet, unhealed wounds inside of me. And it wasn't until I did that work as alongside of recovery work that I was being able to experience more emotional freedom. And certainly it's a lifelong journey, but I invite you into that. I invite you into this new journey that you can live emotionally free. You can live relationally healthy. You can live out God's will with so much more clarity and, dare I say, ease. So join us. Emotionally Freedom, it is online. It is March 16th, and register by March 1st for the early bird rate. That is today. So sign up today, and I'd love to see you there. We'll be right back right after this.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for over 34 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for your life and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live, and joining me in studio right now is Jacqui Mack-Harris. How are you doing, Jacqui?
I'm doing good. How are you?
It's good to see you, friend.
You too.
All right, I want to ask you, right, you see tons and tons of people and dare I say, do amazing work.
Thank you.
And
I had good teachers.
okay, thank you. What are some common themes that you're seeing in the office that people are really struggling with today?
Oh, that's a really good question. I work with a lot of couples, and the common theme is the expectations. People really do have a hard time taking the other person's perspective.
Yeah.
And most of the time, that's the problem. One person has expectations of what marriage should be, what their husband or their wife should be like, how kids should be disciplined and taught and time spent with. And because the other person is a whole separate body, they have different expectations, and they're coming from a different vantage point. And so even if they're in the same situation, they're going to see it differently. But people don't seem to know that. There's this expectation that if you're right, you're going to have the same answer I have.
Yeah.
Right. And so I have people stand up in my office facing each other and describe the room. Don't turn your head. Just look straight past the person in front of you and describe what you see. And we're standing in the same room, but we're going to describe it differently because we have different vantage points. And so I do a lot of work trying to get people to learn to take the other person's perspective.
Well, and I see a lot of that work as becoming aware of what we're unaware of and saying the unsaid.
Yes.
And that's because we all have this vision for what we want our lives to look like.
Yep.
But we're not talking about it.
Right. And
we may not even be aware of it, right?
That's a really interesting point, because one of the interventions I use or homework assignments I give is to create a vision. We create visions for schools, for organizations, for churches, but we don't create a vision for our marriage, and then we're upset that our marriage isn't looking like we want it to look.
Yeah.
Well, the other person that's in your marriage is not in your brain.
Yes.
They don't, like, mind reading is not a real thing. And some people believe, well, if you really loved me, you would just know.
Yeah.
You would just know,
hear it
right?
all the time.
You'd watch me and you'd be able to know, well, I love and adore my husband, but I refuse to read his mind.
Well, I say this, if we could read each other's minds, there is no way that we would be together.
Right.
I would say,
exactly.
My mind is a dangerous place for me, and you will definitely get mugged there.
Exactly.
So you don't want to go into that neighborhood.
You do not want to go there. You do not want to go there. It won't recognize you inside of here. It is going to rebel. Yeah.
And so I think that's the point, is it's really important that we talk through what are our visions for what it means to be a husband and a wife, what it means to have a family, what it means to build a common life together.
Yep. I love that. When I have my clients do the vision, I will ask them to each make a list. And so you write yours and you write yours, and we write it out as though it's happening right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to say, well, we walk together 3 nights a week. We cook dinner together a couple of nights a week. We do a date once a month. We do a date with friends once a month. And all these things I'm writing as though they are happening right now.
Yeah.
And then we bring them together and we compare notes and we negotiate the things that are different, and the things that we have the same automatically go on the vision. We know those are things we are doing. The things that are different, we we might challenge each other on a
Yeah.
little bit, And so I usually say, if it's an absolute no for one or the other, then we don't argue about it. I'm not moving to Alaska and homesteading. I don't care if that's
Come
where
on, Jacqui.
I'm not doing
It's
it.
the fantasy that we all have.
I'm
that
not
some
doing
of us
it.
guys have.
So if he puts it on the list,
Yeah, it's like,
that's
nope, hard
not
no.
happening. But he's also not going to leave home for 3 months out of the year and travel around the world, which is, what I would love to do.
Yeah,
Right.
for
So
sure.
we just throw those two out, and then we work on negotiating the rest of them.
Yeah, that's so good. Well, if you are struggling in your marriage, we have a nationwide network of therapists and coaches that could help you.
Yes.
Call us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And obviously, when we have our intimacy in marriage, and we don't have the next one coming up until July. But the other thing, too, is therapists like Jacqui and I, that, we're not the only ones. There's a bunch of us out there that can help you with your marriage, as well as the resources we have here at New Life. And with that, I'm going to go to the phone, and I'm going to Sabi, listening in Hungary. Is that right? On the internet? Sabi, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Hello, it's Sabi.
Sabi, excellent. Well, tell me what's going on.
Yeah, I'm calling from Budapest, Hungary. Thank you for taking my call.
Hey, listen, I have to interrupt. I'm going to be there in a couple months.
Yeah, I know.
Yes? Okay, good. Because I'm so excited. I can't wait to see your city.
I look forward. I would love to meet you.
Yes.
I know the hotel you're going to stay.
Excellent.
I know the hotel. Yeah.
All right. Well, you'll have to introduce yourself to me. All right.
Good.
All right. So, Sabi, what's on your mind today? How can we help you?
Yes, I've been working with a life coach for more than a year now, and she proposed to me to join her support group.
Okay.
And this support group works with a so-called Enneagram system.
The Enneagram system, yeah.
Yeah, and what are your thoughts about this? It's quite expensive. Like he's asking $5,000 for a 1 year membership.
Okay.
Is it something really, really that powerful?
Yeah, well, I don't know what's all entailed in his program, and so I couldn't really say definitively one way or the other. But I like to say this, why pay for something that's really, really pricey when you can get its value through Amazon or whatever system that delivers books to you in Budapest?
Right.
Right?
There's a really good book on the Enneagram called The Road Back to You.
The Road Back to You.
The Road Back to You. You can order that book anywhere. The Enneagram system is really helpful. It can be really insightful. It does take some spending time with it, and so maybe that's a part of what the fees are for. It's about being in this group and having the accountability and the support and hearing other people's stories, and so you would be doing more than, it would be about more than just learning about the Enneagram. It would be an in-depth learning, I'm assuming, and then having the group aspect along with that and the guide. But if you just want to know more about the Enneagram, the test I took was on the Enneagram Institute's website, but we've done it over Thanksgiving dinner. We've done it, family game night, and so my kids have found free websites to take the Enneagram on. I think the Enneagram Institute, it was $12 to take the assessment.
Well, and I think that for our listeners out there, I think there's a lot of people that are familiar with the Enneagram. It's been popularized quite a bit in the last few years. But if you're not, really, at the end of the day, it's a personality test, and there's 9 different numbers that people can fall into. And, there's a primary and then the secondary that's oftentimes called a wing. But really, the Enneagram at its heart is to help us understand ourselves and each other, and help us understand that we really are wired differently, and that we have differences. And I think that could be a huge strength to understanding each other.
Absolutely, because what it does is every time I've used it or watched it with my family, there's this aha moment of, oh.
Yeah.
Especially when several people have the same one and you're reading through what those characteristics and traits are and fears and different things. And you're like, oh, that's why you do that. But then it takes away the anger and frustration at the differences that we have. So often people are really frustrated with their partners or their children or their parents because they can't understand why they do certain things. Well, these personality tests can help with that.
For sure.
Yep. And there's a podcast too, The Road Back to You. So that might be helpful to just start listening a little bit and learning a little bit more about what the Enneagram is. One big thing that I was taught was you need to figure out for yourself whether or not what the assessment says is true. Like, don't tell someone else their Enneagram number. It is really pretty personal.
Well, and I think it's important. We need to understand some of the things that I've seen as limitations to personality profiles, including the Enneagram, is a lot of times we can weaponize this. Or we can box people in a place where they're not. And actually, the research out there is pretty crystal clear that for most people, their personality is fluid over the course of their lifetime, meaning it's not set in stone. So we can change over the course of our life. The other aspect of that is oftentimes we are using it as a hack or a hot wire for intimacy, and it's not.
Yeah, we're looking for the cheat codes.
Exactly. And so really, we are, as human beings, more than any one of our personality types that these really helpful tools can show us. And so to pretend like we know a person because we know their number or we know their letters or whatever the case may be, I think is a huge mistake.
I agree.
And we can bypass the work of actually getting to know people and actually getting to know ourselves.
Yeah, it can be helpful, as you said, like it's a helpful tool, but it shouldn't be the only thing we're doing. We really need to sit with, whether it's that personality assessment or any other, sit with what the results are and what the maker of it is saying those things mean, and determine if that's true. Does that align with how you see the world and how you see yourself?
Yeah. So Sabi, is that helpful?
$5,000, like this thing would last a year, this group. So a year. And I need to pay like $5,000 for this.
Well, let me go there. You're hesitant. I can hear it in your voice. You're hesitant to invest that kind of money in this thing, right?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of short on financial money now.
This is really important because this is actually a different subject, right? Because there are lots of different programs, a lot of different helpful things that we can do out there, but we also have to respect our resources. And we really want, I look at three things that are really important. They're what we call return-ons, ROs, return on time, return on energy, and return on investment. And if you're going to invest $5,000 where it's going to be, where your financial resources are limited, I would be asking the question, what is the problem I'm looking to solve, and what is the best value for my dollar to help me get there?
I agree. It sounds like your question is this worth it? And I think that's a decision you have to make, because you know what your needs are. You know what challenges you might be facing right now, and you know what your income is. You know what your finances look like. And I would venture to guess that this $5,000 for the year, this person is, it's their time. This is something that they are marketing. This is work for them. This is how they get their finances. And so you have to decide if it's best for you, not based on what the life coach is telling you she has to offer you in terms of this group, but is this something financially I can do, want to do, need to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
And is it going to really solve the problem that I am addressing here? Yeah. Yeah.
And you really do want to look into Enneagram first so that you aren't surprised when you get there if you do choose to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for your advice.
No problem. Well, Sabi,
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, thank you for calling so much, Sabi. We're going to send you a copy of Take Your Life Back, and I think that will help you as well. But he brings up something I think is really, really important. is how do we make these decisions? You know,
especially when most of us are so fragmented.
Absolutely. And I oftentimes use this phrase is that desperate people make desperate decisions, and desperate decisions are rarely good ones.
Right.
Right? But oftentimes when we're in positions of desperation, we do need help.
Yes.
And we do need guidance. But one of the things that I think that it's really good to do is exactly what Sabi did today, is let's do some research. Let's not be impulsive here when it comes to investing our time, energy, and resources. We got to vet it out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we are so glad that you are with us. We are going to go to more calls after the break here. Again, as I mentioned before, that this is the last day for the early bird rate of the Emotional Freedom Workshop. We would love to see you there. If you're wondering if this is a good fit for you, you can go online, take our free quiz on the Emotional Freedom page at newlife.com. Again, that's newlife.com, and we will be back right after this.
When you give to the New Life Scholarship Fund, you're giving someone hope for a brighter future.
I was kind of in the closet and hid with my struggle. Your donation really made the difference, especially in my situation, because I ended up getting laid off from my job.
At the New Life Intensives, hurting people are able to begin a new path towards healing and freedom that has an effect on all of those around them.
I think the people who support New Life financially are people that I'll never know. You know, I'll never be able to thank them personally for the gift that they gave to us. Their giving saved me, my husband, and our family from being torn apart.
To help hurting people to connect to the help they need, make your gift to the Scholarship Fund at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE and specifying scholarships.
Someone called and sponsored me to come this weekend. Whoever that is, just know that you saved a life. Literally, you saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found life recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. I do want to mention we would love for you to join our Club New Life. There is so many benefits to that. There are countless amounts of videos up there that will help you navigate and work through life. There's workshop and discounts that are available. And there's just so much that you can do to support us through being a Club New Life member. You heard in the break also that one of the things that we don't want, to speaking to Sabi's point, is we don't want finances to be a barrier for people to get the help that they need. And therefore, we have a scholarship fund here at New Life. And if you would contribute to that, that would be hugely helpful. And even being a part of transforming and changing lives. And so, again, you can go online, newlife.com, or give us a call at 1-800-NEW-LIFE to participate in that, and it would be greatly appreciated. We're now going to go to Dan in Bismarck, North Dakota, listening on KNDR. Dan, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Dan, talk to me today. What's going on?
Okay. Well, my wife and I, we've been raising our grandchildren. I've got a... Excuse me. I'm okay.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah, we've got a 2.5-year-old and a 13-year-old. And my wife's been going through cancer for the last 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And we had her funeral on Monday. Now, my question is, how do I explain to the 2-year-old, where's Mama?
Oh, man.
'Cause that's what she called.
Yeah.
And the 13-year-old, that's a whole different thing, and we're working on it. But I'm not quite like this because I have a trust and faith in God.
Of course.
I know my wife's in heaven.
Of course.
God's got a plan. So, but I don't know what to tell my 2.5-year-old because what I say could affect her for the rest of her life, and I just want to do what's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I'm really glad that you want to talk to her about it. And let me just say, you said you're not usually like this, but you're not usually grieving the death of your wife. And your emotion is well warranted. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Jesus wept, right? So this is grief, and it really is just a sign of your love and how much you must miss her, and how hard it must be to have her gone. And she was your partner in life, but also your partner in parenting your grandchildren. And so with the grandchildren living with you, there's also other losses that those children and yourself maybe have experienced in terms of their parents. So you are carrying a lot, and you're concerned about your granddaughter, or the 2-year-old, is very sweet. I believe that it's important to be honest with our children. They know something is happening because they are feeling it. They know that she's not there anymore, and so you just directly, honestly tell them what happened. She died from cancer, and died means that she's not living here anymore with us, and that her spirit is in heaven. And that is what I would tell my grandchildren. But then I love finding books to read about things. I'm a standard operating procedures kind of girl, and so I'm usually looking for something that I can read. And so there's some great books on Amazon. We don't necessarily have anything that has to do with children. But for yourself, the Grief Recovery Handbook, it would be great. And then there is a book called, I forgot just that quick, Something Very Sad Happened. You can find that on Amazon, and there are several of them. You could just look up, books about death and dying for toddlers, and then read. What I do is I read through the reviews and make sure that what people are saying about it aligns with my beliefs, and I read through the summaries with the books, and look into who's the person that read the book. And so I would do that research and make sure that it's a book you would be okay with, and just be honest with her, age appropriately.
And Dan, our heart just breaks for you, man. What you're holding in your life right now, your own grief, the love and care of the 13-year-old and the 2.5-year-old, and their grief, that is a lot. Do you have support in your area?
Well, we've got a good church.
Good.
The school, it's a small school that we go to, and they're very supportive. There's a couple counselors I've got my boy seeing.
Good.
And I have a good trust in God. And here, I'm going to tell you something. I listen to you guys all the time. And I think there's no way a guy can call and get in on the show.
You're in, man.
Well, I was driving through town. I had errands to run this morning, and I asked my phone to figure out how to call you. I called you, and the lady that answered the phone says, I think you're going to be the next caller. And I thought, okay, God, thank you. Well, I can't help but thank God for the goodness he's given to me.
Absolutely.
My wife and I, we did have 50 good years. We just celebrated 50 years together.
That's beautiful.
Congratulations.
We're good. I tell people we're good.
Well,
I
good.
know where my wife is, but I just need to know, like what you say.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Well, Dan, hold on for a moment because we're going to come right back to you, but we got to head to the break right now. But I want to give you a resource and I want to give you some parting words that I think would be helpful. So we'll be right back right after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I have given to New Life regularly because I have so many people that I am referring to New Life who so benefit from the ministry. I just can't imagine what would happen in my area if New Life wasn't available to us.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of all 8 100-day devotionals, including 100 Days of Prayer, 100 Days of Freedom from Depression, and 100 Days of Peace. There are also ongoing benefits like the monthly Club New Life CD or download, access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, discounts on workshops, and quarterly online meetings with Steve. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. Chris Williams with Jacqui Mack-Harris. We were talking with Dan and the heartbreak that Dan has been through in losing his wife of 50 years, raising his 2.5-year-old and 13-year-old grandchildren, and just walking through deep grief. Yeah. It's incredibly difficult. All I have to say is this. Dan, can you be my grandpa? Because the love and the wisdom and the care that you display is so incredibly beautiful and amazing. And so we're going to send you a copy of the Life Recovery Bible as well as the Grief Recovery Workbook that can go alongside of that. So we want to thank you and honor you for what you're doing. We want to honor you in your loss and honor you in your life as you are parenting and through deep grief. And so, yes, much, much love and grace to you. So thank you so much for calling in, Dan. And now we're going to go to Sam in Milton, Florida. Sam, are you there?
Hello.
Hi, Sam. How's it going?
Hi. I'm doing all right.
Well, talk to me. What's going on?
So I have a sister, and it's been a big struggle with her because she has borderline personality, and you never know what to expect with her. And I want to be close to her because she's my sister and love her, but she makes it really difficult because whenever she's around, she kind of verbally attacks me, and I come to the point where I'm like, I can't take it, and then sometimes I retaliate. I say stuff back, then later I'm like, I shouldn't have said it, but it's really difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
Anyways, what makes it especially hard is I'm getting married in a couple of weeks, March 16th, and it's a really exciting time, but I think she's really jealous, and she's just kind of, whenever I talk about it, she's she's with this other guy, and she's like living with him and not doing things the right way, and I'm doing things the right way. We're not, we're not doing that kind of stuff together. And I'm like, I want it to be a special day. And she's like, well, I deserve just the same thing. And it always has to be back to her. And it's hard because I want her to feel like I love her, but I also feel like I can't deal with her.
What's the question that you have for us around this? What's the struggle?
I guess I would say my question is, what is the best way to handle, like, when she starts to just come at me and say really negative, ugly things? Should I just walk away, or should I just...
Well, has walking away helped in the past? Have you tried that?
I mean, yes, and then it doesn't exactly. She's still like.
She's still saying things
against me.
Yeah.
Right. She's still saying things, and she'll just follow you around and say more things. Right. When you say what is the right way, I wonder if you're asking, what can I do to make this be different? What can I do to get a different response? There's nothing you can do. Yeah. There's nothing you can do to get a different response from her. So you then have to decide how you are going to engage with her and what boundaries you're going to set. Because there's not a script. There are no words that you can say that's going to make her behave differently. You've probably tried everything. And your wedding is coming up. Is she in the wedding?
She is supposed to be my maid of honor.
And how has that been going?
It's been okay. Well, mostly okay. It's been a little bit. I've tried to just not. I don't know. I haven't seen her too much. So,
are you concerned about how she'll behave at the wedding?
A little bit.
Have you talked to her about that?
Yeah. No, and one thing. So another part of her story is she has 3 children, and she's not currently married, and my family's caring for her children. Kind of more.
Okay.
And they, anyways.
So she's supposed to be in the wedding. Has she said anything to indicate that she won't be there?
There's a possibility she might not.
Okay. So let that be if that's the case. She may really need she may feel she needs you to pursue her. And so something may come up that day to get your attention. So you have to have some support around you. On your wedding day, you want someone who can run interference for you. So find a friend, a wedding coordinator, a parent if that's possible, a mentor, one of the sisters from church, somebody who's strong and kind and loving, who can run interference for you and be your gatekeeper, so that when things are going awry, they can handle the problems and you can stay focused on your special day. Because sometimes in families and in friendships, people consciously or unconsciously will try to make things about themselves. They will create a scene or get sick, have an accident. I've seen people fall at the wedding, and then now they've gotten, we're calling 911 during the middle of the wedding. So here we go.
They made it about them, and they succeeded. Yeah.
Yep.
And Sam, that's what I want to encourage you with. This is about your day. This is about you and your fiance and what you guys are celebrating. And so I'm going to give you 3 words in dealing with people who do not respect boundaries, people who cause problems and even cause pain. Is that in your communication, you want to be clear, you want to be calm, and you want to be strong.
Okay.
So clear,
calm, and strong.
Yes.
And clear, let me break that down for you. Clear means direct. We are not beating around the bush. We are not trying to couch it in sweet, sugary words so that it go down smoother. We're just being clear and direct. That is not okay with me. No, you may not do that.
Yeah.
I don't want that. And that's not being mean. It's not being nasty. It is setting a boundary, but being clear. Clear is kind.
Yeah.
If you're clear and direct, a person has a better chance of understanding you, and they may not like your clarity or your directness. They might not like that you're being strong.
Yeah. And the calm part, too, is really important because people who struggle with borderline personality disorder live at a high escalated emotional state. Yeah. And so what we tend to do is match them there. But if we look at it this way, your feet are off the ground and you're out of control. What we want to do is get our feet deep into the ground and be an immovable object. You know. And Jacqui, I love that idea of having, identifying a person that their job is to manage this person.
And that person and everybody else that isn't doing what you need them to do for the wedding. Things happen on your wedding day. It's just inevitable. But sometimes we have family members that we are already expecting the certain behaviors. And so if there's other family members who already recognize this, you might want to have a conversation with them and let them know to stay calm too. Because your sister might surprise everybody and then it's somebody else trying to wrangle her that makes the fuss. But staying calm for you, I think what Chris said, that's the answer to your first question. Your responses to her are always clear, calm, and strong. And don't let yourself get revved up. What you're feeling in your body when you start to get flooded and angry and then you say things back, you are feeling exactly what she's feeling. She shared her emotion with you.
That's the contagion, yeah.
Yep.
Sam, I want to encourage you. This day is about you. This day is about you and your husband. It's about your covenant before God. And so you want to be it's already going to be really stressful. So you want to be as clear and present as you possibly can be. So we encourage you in that. We cheer you on. We celebrate with you.
Can we celebrate by sending How We Love?
Yes. That's a great idea. We're going to send you 2 resources. I'm going to Steve Arterburn this. We're going to send you How We Love, and we're also going to send you Take Your Life Back.
Yep.
And both of those resources, I believe, will be really, really helpful. And again, we cheer you and your fiance on, and we pray for you and strength as you deal with this really, really difficult condition that your sister is struggling with. We'll be back right after this.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are. Dr. Heidi Summers on coaching.
A lot of people don't understand the difference between counseling and coaching. Coaches can help you with strategizing. Not everyone is in a crisis or recovering from a trauma. A lot of people just need help getting to where they want to be, and they don't know how to do that. And so it's helpful to have a third party come in to give objective feedback, set goals, create accountability, and help you walk out what your goals actually are.
If you need a coach for life, your career, relationships, your health and fitness, leadership, and more, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been trained and screened with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
Coaches are intended to help you live in the present and goal set toward what it is you want for the future.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and talk to us about getting a New Life coach today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. Again, we are so grateful that you are with us today, and so grateful for the callers. And with that, we're going to go to our next caller, who is Jack, listening in Dallas, Texas on YouTube. Jack, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you.
No problem. Jack, tell me what's going on. How can we help you?
Yeah, I just had a question about, I had a friend recently switched to Protestantism, and me and another friend are giving him a little discipleship and how to help him without making him feel we're attacking the Catholic faith. There's respect for that.
Yeah.
Just wanted to help him in his growth as a believer.
Oh, I love that. I love that you're helping your friend in his walk with Christ. Is there anything in particular that he's struggling with or anything that you have a fear about?
Seems to have just a lot of questions doctrinally between the two, and just wondering, how we could just gently show him the differences without making him feel like we're bashing the Catholics.
Yeah. I really honor you in that. I think as Protestants, we tend to forget that our roots are still Catholic here in the West, and that I think there's a lot of honor due to those roots as well as Catholic Christians today, of course. And so I really, really like that you're balancing that out. I would say the first thing is answering a different question of rather than a doctrinal or theological question, is that I find that the best discipleship is honesty. It is talking about Christ in your life and what it means and how it's impacted you, including your struggles and how you're moving forward. And I just find it so refreshing. In the people who have mentored me and discipled me, the ones who have been most impactful are the ones who have been most authentic to their real experience and authentic to their faith in Christ. And so I just want to encourage you in that first. And so, Pastor Jacqui.
Yes. I love that you want to be kind and gentle and respectful of his past. And so I would just leave it in the past. He's going to, as he grows in his faith, he is going to see the differences. He's going to experience the differences. That's going to make a lot more sense than anything you could actually say. Just like, as a Christian, Protestant Christian, going into a Catholic church, I wouldn't have understood what Mass was until I got in there and experienced it. And I was like, okay. So things are done differently. But the main focus is the main focus, Jesus. And I just would keep my discipleship conversations towards Jesus. I like sharing the book of John and Romans with new believers and trying to walk through those books with them as they are just starting to find their way with having that personal, deep relationship with Jesus. And really, that's the biggest difference to me is learning that this is a personal relationship. And so we've cut out the middleman of going and making confession. Now you just make your confession to God directly and teaching him those things about Jesus being seated at the right hand of the Father and interceding for him and just the Romans road kind of things. I would just be sharing how those stories in the Bible, those verses have impacted my life. Giving life application to this journey, I think, is going to be really key for him. And let for me, the traditions and the rituals are are what the different names and denominations of our churches are about. If we just stay centered on Jesus and him crucified and risen, I think that that's the most important thing.
Yeah, and I would just encourage you to like we've said with other people, if you go ask, different people who are more theologically inclined, or do research online to see if there's books that really help delineate some of the differences between a Catholic understanding of the Bible or Catholic theology and a Protestant theology. And I think that could be some of that to work through to answer a lot of those questions.
I'm sure there's something out there that is a bridge for him.
Yeah. And the last thing I will say is that one of the most powerful answers that we can give somebody is, I don't know.
Especially if
it really is. I don't know, and hey, let's explore this together. I want to see what you think. I want to see what I think. Maybe even commit it to prayer. But the point, I think the biggest point of discipleship goes back to, again, an authentic life lived. And again, I miss this point, which I think is the main point. Jesus says they will know us by our love. Yep. Your difference doesn't scare me. Your difference doesn't intimidate me, and I know that you're already saying that, Jack. And so I would say you're already ahead of the game in the fact that you love this guy well, and that you'll continue to love him well. And
I like that you said, I don't know, because I'm thinking if this were me, and I'm hanging out with someone who has come to my church and they were Catholic before, I don't know the Catholic faith well enough to have a conversation about the differences between Catholicism and Protestant Christianity, aside from what I know stereotypically.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give information based on hearsay.
Yeah.
Because since I've not experienced it, I don't really feel like I would have good answers. But here's what I can tell you about my church.
Yeah.
Here's what I can tell you about the way that I serve, or the way that I pray, or the way that I study. And just having him join you in that, I'm excited for you guys for this discipleship journey.
Yeah. Jack, is that helpful?
Yeah, thank y'all. Appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we want to cheer you on in this. We're going to actually send you a copy of the Life Recovery Bible. And that's just, again, such a great resource. And what I love about the Life Recovery Bible is of course it brings recovery principles to Scripture and to life through Scripture. But recovery is not just about an addictive process. It's about the human process. And how do we apply these things of Scripture to what we are struggling with and what we're suffering with today in actual real time?
Yeah, the commentary in the Life Recovery Bible is really personal. It brings the Scripture to the person, and so that's going to be a great read for you.
Yeah. So Jack, thank you so much for calling in today, listeners. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for listening. I want to mention one more thing that's really, really important. One of the things that unfortunately is painfully common in our marriages today and in our relationships today is sexual betrayal and sexual acting out. And we know this. Obviously, we do the everyman's battle and getting in there deep in the issues with guys to help them find that road to freedom. But obviously, we don't want to leave the women behind and out. And I oftentimes say this, those who are hurt by betrayal trauma have to do their own work. It's not fair. In fact, it's not even right that they have to do it, because it's not something that they did. It's something that was done unto them. But the work is still necessary. We want to help you. We want to make sure you're not alone in that. And so we have the Restored Workshop that helps women who have been sexually betrayed. And that's coming up. It's not coming up until July, but I want to see that right now. It's happening in Washington, D.C., because if you need to get into a life recovery book, if you need to reach out to us, get resources to help support you along that journey of healing and recovery, and we have Sherry's book of intimate betrayal, healing the wounds of sexual betrayal. So there's so much that we can do. But again, that workshop's coming up. Thank you so much for listening to us today. And we wish you a very, very blessed and very gracious day. Talk to you on the other side.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video, and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE, but when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.